Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. We're going to be making a trapper scabbard. I got these little cutouts that I will cut out, and I have them for sale up there on the website, but they just go together like this. It saves you having to cut them out, because I've cut out a few hundred of these probably by hand, and I know that it's no fun. It takes forever. You gotta punch out those slots and everything, but I'm just going to kind of show you how I build these now. And as I said, if you want to buy these, just hop on the old website, bebrosleather.com, and you'll find them. I'll pin a link in the comments as well, probably in the description also. I'm just going to build this one a basket stamp. So first I get my stitch line groove down there, and of course you can buck stitch these as well, hand stitch them, however you want to attach them. But I'm going to get a little moisture in it. I'm going to, like I said, basket stamp this one. This is actually for an order that I'd received. So it's going to have a double border that gets painted white. For some reason, this one does pretty darn good online. And I don't know if that has to do with like the title and how it gets ranked in Google, or if people just like these, because I mean, not that I don't like this pattern, but I have quite a few that I like better, and they don't seem to get the attention that this one does. But of course, that's maybe I'm just an oddball and like weird stuff. I've got my outside laid out there. I'm just going to cut along that line. So now I got that outside line finished up. I'm going to set my dividers about that thick. And I'm going to put one leg inside that cut line and just drag the other along that to create my double border there. They make those double border tools. In fact, I have one, but for some reason I just do it this way. Not that there's any benefit for it, it's just for some reason what I do. All right, so I got that border cut along. I'm gonna hit her with a little bit, another dose of water. And I'm gonna find my beveler real quick. I'm just gonna bevel around the outside of my line. So there we go, got everything beveled around there. Next, I'm just going to take my straight edge here and a little scribe, mark me a line, and that's where I'm going to basket stamp. Kapow! So now we got all that stamping done. I'm going to take this number 2 edger, and I'm going to go ahead, edge the top, both sides, before I go ahead and get her glued down to that, because once I get it glued down to that, it's pretty hard to rub that top edge there. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that out of the way right now. And while I'm rubbing this right here, I'm going to go ahead and remind you all of that submarine I'm giving away. 2 videos back, I've kind of talked how you enter that. If you take a look back at the video that says learning how to make a wallet or making a wallet. If you take a look at that, it tells you how to enter up and kind of a little bit about the submarine, how I came about it, and the history on it and all that. So be sure and check that out. You know, it's something you could live on. Real neat little deal, but just go ahead and take a peek at that. And while you're at it, check out some other parts of that video. So we got that thing pretty slicked up there. I would say she's ready to glue down to that backing. So all I do, just kind of get that thing centered up, take a pen or a pencil, and I'll just go around the outside here. I don't want to go around that top side because I'll cut them kind of if you take these 2 points, kind of cut it straight across, that gives your knife something to catch on, to stick back in the scabbard. A lot of people don't do that. They'll just cut those things off right there, and if you ever tried to get your knife back in there, it sure is a pain in the butt. So that's a built-in bonus right here for buying one of these things. I mean, heck, you don't have to cut them out. Get you a dozen shipped to you. These will last you about 2 weeks, I bet. You'll have them all sold down anyway. I like the shape of these. I mean, obviously I did because I made these, but some of them out there, they're just too boxy. These have good amount of meat here on your next to your belt loop holes there. Some of those things, there's hardly any leather there, and that's just a point where they're going to wear out on you. Probably in the future also, what I'm going to do is draw up some carbon patterns for these and throw them on the website, see how they do. But I'm going to let that glue dry up, get her stuck down on there. I think we got that glue tacked up. We're just going to line them back up and go ahead and stick it on there. Make sure we got a good adhesion. Since I was talking earlier about that past video, it reminded me of something in the last video I made of learning how to carve part 2. I was having some problems with somebody commenting with the handle fart. I can't remember their name, but they said some pretty mean things to me, and I kind of called them out in that video, said some mean things about their mom, and I would like to take back most, if not all of those things that I said. I shouldn't respond to lowball comments like that, so I'd like to apologize to whoever that guy was for all the horrible things that I said. But anyway, I got this thing glued up. I'm going to sew it next, but first I'm going to let that leather dry up, and I'll come back at it here in a little bit. She's all stitched together. I'm going to knock out these belt loops because I just got going through the one layer there. So I just get it lined up in my little loophole. And just beat it till it goes through. This punch is a little bit dull. I lent it to my dry cleaner, and whenever they brought it back, couldn't hardly get it to punch through leather. Not sure what he was doing to it, but gosh darn, I got at least 3 pairs of jeans starched for free though out of the deal, so I didn't get entirely raw shafted on that one. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that border off real quick. I just start over here on the side. And you don't have to get too close. I just get pretty close. And then what I do is take my sanding block and trim that thing up the rest of the way. I'll show you. I'm sure if you've watched some of my other videos, you already have seen me do this in the past. But if you're new, I guess I'll show you. And if you look back a few, oh shoot, get a little bit closer than that though, or else you'll be sanding on it all day. If you look back a couple of videos ago, I just sander, but I show a video of how to get those glass smooth edges, and kind of shows all this in here. But I'll be back in just a second. I'm gonna go finish sanding on this. So I got it all sanded up, and I'm gonna come back with my number 3 edger right here, and I'm just gonna work my way around the whole thing. And as I'm doing this, I would like to ask if anybody out there knows a good plumber kind of in the northwest New Mexico area. I do have some issues I've been working on, and I can't resolve them myself, so I think I'm gonna have to break down and get a plumber here. I know the kids have been flushing things down the toilet, so I've kind of lost my patience with them, and I guess I'll just have to crack their piggy banks open and kind of have them pay for it. So price doesn't matter. I'm just kind of needing somebody good who can, retrieve a deflated football from a toilet there. But anyway, I'm just gonna edge both sides, including the belt loops there. Just work my way around. This thing's a little dull, so I'm kind of trying to take it in little chops. There we go. And if you watched the edging video or the edge rubbing video, you know the next step. And if you didn't watch it, I bet you probably know it also. I'm just going to wet my sponge here and go all the way around the edges there. Just go around it a couple times. Get everything good and moist. Then grab your canvas cloth and go all the way around. I'm going to meet you back here in just a second. That way I can really rub on this thing and not have a camera directly in front of my face while I do it. I got all my edges slicked down, including in my belt loops there. I've gone ahead, wet the back, kind of mashed my finger in there just to, loosen it up a little bit. Next thing I'm going to do, just shove a knife down in there and just kind of form my belt loops. I was actually supposed to make a video today of one of those, if you've ever seen those quick draw knife scabbards that are, you pull your knife out and they pull the blade out all in once, but unfortunately I had a little firework accident earlier today, so I wasn't able to make that video. But anyway, I'm making this one, and it's about 4:30 in the morning right now, so I'm going to call her good for tonight. Let this thing dry. I didn't set this knife in there all the way. I think I leave her empty just a little bit at the bottom. This is a top secret trick of mine, so if you don't mind, just if somebody asks you about it, just tell them to watch the video and don't divulge this bit of information. But I leave that empty down there, so that way when you actually push your knife down in there, it has a little bit more retention. Just a little secret tip there. So I'm going to let that dry overnight. Kind of got my belt loops rounded out just how I like them. Will slide on your belt nice and easy. And I will see you in the morning here in a couple hours. I'm going to go get a little bit of shut-eye anyway. So I finally made it back out to the shop. Time to paint this thing. I'm going to use this Angelus white paint. Like I said, this is a custom order that I'm doing for somebody. Just off, or not a custom order, I guess it's a stock order off the website, but so that border gets a painted white. This is not my good paintbrush, so I'll be back in just a second. All right, this paintbrush ought to work a little better. So I'm just going to dunk her in the paint and just start painting that border. There's probably my least favorite part here. I would have been out here a little earlier to finish that darn video, but I got in a fight with my neighbor. His javelinas ate my jack-o'-lanterns again, so kind of had to take care of that real quick. But I just go around this border. It usually takes a couple coats. I like it to get pretty darn thick and cover it up. You can see how now it's pretty streaky and nasty, but I'm going to go ahead and finish painting that. I doubt you want to see it, and it's a lot easier to do it without the camera in my face. So we got her all painted up. Got the stamp on, got it molded. Now it is time for some oil. I'm just going to go over all these edges real quick, let it soak in there. That'll help those edges darken up a little more. And it always looks a little better with darker edges. And I'm just going to get the backside pretty good. And of course the front side as well. And wherever we stamped it, that's going to soak in oil a little bit more than the little wing deals there. So I'm going to hit those a little extra. I like to darken these things up. It gives them a little bit more contrast to that white. I think that's what people like about them, is the contrast. Give her another dose on the back. Shoot. And we're pretty, that's finished up right there. Ready to go on the belt just as soon as that oil seals up. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Had fun making it. Go ahead, subscribe. See that next one. All right, I'm out.